If you're a beginner and you're planning to trade this week, stop. Before you open your charts, before you look for entries, before you convince yourself you've seen a setup, you need to watch this. Because this week, most traders are going to lose money. Not because their strategy is bad, not because the market is manipulated, but because this is not a clean market. And if you don't know how to identify that, you're going to give back to the market. Let me show you what I mean. Basically, as a beginner, whenever these four elements show up in your trades, avoid taking trades. Choppy structure, mid-range price, no liquidity sweep, and no clear bias. Now let's start with CAD JPY. Let's see whether CAD JPY is choppy or in a trend. So out on the monthly time frame here, which is where I love to start my analysis from, you want to know the direction of the market. What's the monthly time frame saying for CAD JPY? We can see that the market is moving to the upside. We want to plot out our key levels. Now this looks like a key level here, and there was a breakout right about here. I'll quickly go over to the weekly time frame to see what this level actually looks like on the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we've seen that we've had a clear breakout above this level, and we have commitment to the upside, just like the monthly time frame said. So what the weekly time frame basically helps us do is to identify whether there are chart patterns that support what the monthly time frame says. So we've seen that the monthly time frame is giving us a bullish trend. The weekly time frame came over here to create what is a chart pattern. So this is a chart pattern that shows the left shoulder, and then this shows the head, and this also was the right shoulder, with this being the neckline. So after we broke above the neckline like such, we haven't come to properly retest this neckline like so this is how I love to trade. I usually like the market to commit. In this case, it gave a chart pattern, which is an inverse head and shoulder on the weekly time frame, and we have blown out of the range. So in this case, we have blown out of the neckline of the chart pattern. We've not had a proper retest of that neckline. So that's why I am of the opinion that CAD JPY, although we're having a good bias on the monthly time frame, on the weekly time frame, so when you're zooming in, the opportunities on the lower time frame should give you an insight as to how to enter into the market, because apparently you can't trade on the high time frames like the monthly and the weekly. So the weekly ideally should come back to retest the neckline. It's not yet done that, and that's why I'm holding. So when you come over to the daily time frame, you even see this clearly. Now on the daily time frame, we have spotted a range right about here. Now, this is a range that has been spotted on the daily time frame, and because this is a range, you should avoid trading mid-range. But if you can trade ranges well, the best places to be taking ranges are at the top of the range, and you take it all the way to the downside. At the top of the range, you take it all the way to the downside. Or at the bottom of the range, you take it all the way up, and at the bottom of the range, you take it all the way up. But you are risking properly. And the only reason why you can take trades in this manner is because you have identified the top and the bottom of the range. Now, the issue is when you are seeing price mid-range. So when you have seen price mid-range here, it makes it difficult to be able to enter trades. And that's why you should avoid mid-range markets. Now, CAD JPY on the monthly time frame, we are saying that we're going up. Now, we've micro zoomed even to the daily time frame, and we've seen that we are having issues trading this trend. Now, if you make mistakes as a beginner trader, because that's what a lot of beginner traders do, by zooming in, like really into the 15 minutes and the 5 minutes, you are going to be having issues trading this market, because the higher time frame, as you can see clearly on the daily time frame, is showing that we are mid-range. So any strategy you're using in the lower time frames, like the 5 minutes, the 15 minutes, and even the 1 hour, is going to give you a lot of headaches when you try to trade them. So avoid mid-range markets, avoid trading ranges. The next pair I'm going to look at is GBP CAD. Now, GBP CAD, you first of all come over to the monthly time frame, like I said earlier on, and all we need to do is to identify the trend of this market. So on the monthly time frame, I can see that the market is going into the upside. It's clearly spelled like that, and I can also see that we did have a level here. So we spotted this level right about here, and we observed that there was a breakout above this level, and the market continued to move to the upside. Now, if you want to learn how to spot these levels and use them to make analysis and trade properly, I've actually created a free masterclass for you. This is where I teach traders how to understand the market and trade well. I go in depth on technical analysis, market structure, and how to understand the market for what it truly is by trading from one time frame to the other, which is multi-time frame analysis. It's right in the description of this video. Go and check it out at the end of this video. So after we did breakout above this level, that's fine. That's good. The monthly time frame has said that. The next thing we need to do is to go over to the weekly time frame to see whether we are having any issues with this trend. So now we've broken out like we've broken out, like you see here. We'll also draw our weekly levels right about here. So we've got more levels here. Now, after this weekly level identified, you can see that after the breakout, the market retested this place. It's supposed to continue moving to the upside like such, but instead, look what the market is doing. It's just moving in the same place and not making any real progress. Now, if you look at this, this is the clear-cut characteristics of a choppy market. This market is very choppy. Like you can see how many weeks it gave off here, how many, ups and downs it made all the way to the upside. And then it's still not retracing properly. It's making in-depth retracement to the downside, like it still wants to test the bottom of this range. And I told you that you should avoid as well choppy markets. Now, GBP card is showing the real example of a choppy market. I find it difficult trading this type of pairs, especially when it's not aligning with my ideal setup. And I do not like to trade ranges. I do not like to trade choppy markets. It saved me a lot of money. By just identifying these markets, I know for sure that I am not going to trade profitably if I touch them. And you should avoid it as well. Now, if I go over to the daily time frame, the daily time frame shows this range even better. You can see what the range actually looks like on the daily time frame. And apart from the fact that this is a choppy market, we are also trading mid-range. So I told you initially, if you want to take trades in ranging markets, identify the top of the range and the bottom of the range, which is what we did here. So if you identified this bottom initially, you can see that you would have traded profitably this range to the upside because the market went all the way up. The same goes for this part right about here. So if you identify this top here, you should be taking your trades all the way to the downside. And the market has not yet gotten there, but you can see that if you didn't take this trade right about here, you have no chance at all taking the trade anywhere around here because this is just going to be mid-range and you should be avoiding mid-range markets. So GBP card is choppy and GBP card is trading mid-range. Avoid GBP card this week and you will save your account. Now, GBP USD. I love to trade GBP USD, but GBP USD is having issues this week. And the funny thing is that GBP USD is actually trending on the higher time frame. Like you can see, this is the monthly time frame, and we can see a clear trend to the upside. GBP USD is trading to the upside. Now I'll come over to the weekly time frame to position better for this upside movement to see exactly why I'm having issues with GBP USD. So if you draw this trend line like such now, you can see that GBP USD is clearly moving to the upside. And after we did break above this level here, which was a supply region in the past, GBP USD also got to a second level, which is this level right here. Now, this level gives me a lot of headache. The first thing is that this level created a pin bar right about here. And looking closely, we can see clearly that the market swept liquidity here. And that has now occasioned GBP USD movement to the downside. Now, why are we now moving downwards instead of going up on GBP USD? You can see this pin bar is very, very iconic because when a pin bar appears at a major level, you should take it seriously. Now, the monthly time frame is saying we're going up. The weekly time frame has come to create a pin bar, which is now forcing GBP USD to move to the downside. When you have seen two major time frames that are conflicting with themselves in this manner, then you should apply caution when trading. Ideally, you should pay more attention to the monthly time frame, but the weekly time frame is still strong enough not to ignore. Now, after we did come back below this level, you can see that we retested right here. Now, GBP USD has begun to come down, and judging from the look of things, GBP USD might likely come all the way here. I'm not saying that that's going to be the next target for GBP USD, but with the way price action is imprinting itself, it is a likely outcome. However, I'm not looking at trading GBP USD this week until we see commitment from the market. Now, the commitment might be that this market will come all the way down and break this level and begin to trade to the downside. And if that happens, we are faced with another issue, which is this weekly trend line. So ideally, I want this trend line to be taken off before I can continue taking trades for GBP USD to the downside. This is a likely outcome, and if that happens, then I'll be better placed for having some trades for GBP USD to the downside. On the flip side, all I'll need for GBP USD is to come back and trade above this level. Once we come back and trade above this level and hold here, then I'll take GBP USD to the upside. Now you can see clearly that I have avoided trading anywhere around here. And the reason is because anywhere around here simply means that I'm trading a ranging market, because clearly this has turned out to be a ranging market. And this is what it looks like on the daily time frame. So anywhere within this area that GBP USD is, you're not going to see me take any trades at all until we have clear commitment, like you can see from my chart and my analysis. And finally, Bitcoin. Now let's see what Bitcoin is saying in this regard. Is Bitcoin really trading to the downside? Now, on the monthly time frame, we had a trend line here, which got broken at this point. That shows real commitment, and that shows the market wants to go down. Now, in the weekly time frame, let's quickly mark up some levels. So we can see that the market clearly hasn't convincingly taken out this level. And if I zoom in clearly, you can see that the market still is having issues trading below this level. Although on the weekly time frame, you seem to have seen some candles. Well, these candles are not the nicest of candles. Like, you need to see proper breaks, just like the way the market broke above this level here. The market still needs to do the same thing here. Now, it's not done that. That's why I'm having issues taking continuous trades for BTC to the downside. Now, we predicted this BTC move all the way here. If you doubt that, watch my previous video. You're going to see it in my previous video, how we took trades on BTC to the downside. Now, let's quickly go over to the daily time frame to see whether we're going to have any trading opportunities. Now, on the daily time frame, you can see that we are having more and more issues. This, you can see here, this is a reversal candlestick pattern, a tweezer bottom. And having this tweezer bottom, happen sharply the way it's done, is giving me a lot of concerns, because it might just mean that BTC wants to roll back to the upside and roll back above this level, but it's not done that yet. Also, coming to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that the market is also in a range, and because of we are still capped at this range, I'm having issues continue to take BTC trades to the downside. And I need to point out one thing clearly here. Going back to the daily time frame, whenever the market has a sharp movement like this, without giving a nice pullback, I usually have my reservations about taking those trades. Now, my take for BTC is this. To continue to take trades for BTC to the downside, I need BTC to commit by coming to break this range here. Now, if we do break this range and sustain below the range, then I'll continue to trade BTC to the downside. And if that happens, the next target for BTC will be here, which is back to $60,000 per coin. And that's how I'll take it. But if peradventure BTC does not do that and comes back to make a full retracement, as it should, because this is price action, if BTC does that and comes to break back above this zone like so, then best believe that BTC is coming back to $80,000 per coin. Now, these are the real issues I'm having with BTC. As you can see from my analysis, BTC on the high time frame is bearish, but in the lower time frames, we're having candlestick patterns that are depicting a reversal, such as the tweezer bottom. We're also having ranges, and now these ranges are also mid ranges, which is what I pointed out earlier in the video, that as a beginner, watch out for these signs on the charts so that you can avoid taking erroneous trades and losing money. If this video was insightful and helped you see the market clearly, drop a comment. Remember to join the masterclass. In there, I'll show you how this is done and how to trade better. If you want to learn how to take better trades weekly, watch this video right here.